I was 20 years old when one of my friends came to me and asked out of nowhere, "Hey Nathaniel, do you want to come with me and my brother to Australia for travel?" And without hesitation, I said yes, because I was so blown away that that dream is coming to fulfill. Because about 9 years earlier, no, 7 years earlier, I lost my third kidney, and I went home into my room. I shared the video a few weeks ago, sorry, about how I went into my bedroom and plastered my wall with picture of Australia. And so that was a dream coming true, because back then the doctor said, "Hey, you won't be able to have any more a kidney for the whole of your life." And for me, it was kind of very difficult to understand how I'm going to travel in the future with dialysis. Back then that wasn't that big thing yet. So even more, when my friend came up with that idea, I was so blown away. And the first thing I did basically was, I went to my parents' place, full excitement. And they knew about my dream, of course, everyone knew back then, and my friend, my family. And so my parents, they were just in shock. Not because they were happy about me, but they didn't know how to deal with that. They were understandably very fearful of that idea, especially my mom. Sorry, mom, I hope you don't punch me in the face with that second video in a row where I talk a little bit like contradictional towards you. But anyway, that's part of my life. I love my mom, and so, but she was too in shock, and my dad as well, but a little bit more reverse, with saying things like, "Hey, how are you going to do it? What you want to do with the dialysis? That's never going to work." And so I didn't care. I didn't care at all. I was a little bit frustrated because, a child, or I wasn't a child anymore. I was a grown-up person, still young living, but grown up, 20 years old, but I was still the child, still am I today. And so the reality was, I was kind of frustrated, because you tell someone important what you want to do, and you finally can live it out, and you have the opportunity for it, and the atmosphere is changing. It's like whoop. And so I was frustrated. So I didn't get into confrontation much. I knew it for the moment, it doesn't bring anything, and I haven't, or at that point I was kind of saying, I was thinking, talking with them, it doesn't make sense. Anyway, I'm going anyway. So I was excited, still frustrated, and I knew I'm going to do it. I didn't know how to do it. So here is the thing, what I want to talk about. That's the next part of how I had to defying the odds, how I trick my doctors for traveling, doing my trip to Australia. I think it was in the same day or the day after, I had to go to dialysis again. And so I was not telling anyone yet, but I think we had 1 month time to plan everything. So we wanted to go for 2 months, my two friends and myself. And we knew another friend that lived already in Australia. So that wasn't a big deal. But I had to basically to book and organize every dialysis along the way where we are going to travel. So 2 months, we decided to stay 2 weeks in Sydney, or the first 10 days, and then we traveled 6 weeks along the east coast from Sydney to Cairns, up and down. And so that was the plan. So I didn't speak English. I was back then still looking for myself, how how I can book dialysis in today's time. It's a little bit easier. There are certain companies that do the booking for you and all that stuff. They look for the dialysis treatment and clinics that you have to go, and you can just tell them, hey, I want to go there at that time. Please look for me a clinic close by. But that wasn't the case, or I didn't know about that back then, because it was basically one of the first time that I traveled overseas. Not one of the first time, actually the first time I traveled overseas, but it wasn't the first time I went to another country. I traveled to another countries a few years ago before, to Italy, France, Germany, all the countries around Switzerland, but that wasn't a big deal. Going overseas is a complete another level if you don't know the dialysis clinic there. So we were planning the trip, and so I was really excited, and I went another time to dialysis, and I told that my doctor, and so I believed it was 10 days before when I just had booked a dialysis treatment in Sydney, and any other cities that we wanted to go, I had no clue about where I'm going to dialysis. And so we had the first 10 days, I had booked a dialysis in Sydney. That was about four treatments. And so I was telling that my doctor, and she was like going, Mr. Thurberg, you are not going to Australia unless you have booked every dialysis treatment along the way. And without hesitation, I blurted out, Mr. Doctor, I don't care, I'm going anyway. In 10 days, my flight is going to happen, and I'm going. I don't care, I just want to go. If you have a problem with that, I don't care. And I could see her face really going mad at me, and she walked out the room. There was a nurse standing beside me as well, the other patient, and beside me, hearing everything, and they were kind of, what's this crazy guy doing? He is completely crazy, he is not anymore normal. And looking back, it was kind of true. But at the same time, I was so confident that I will go and live out the dream. So to find out how I trick my doctors to do my trip to Australia was kind of not something really special. It was just, I believe today, it was just having the confidence enough to know what I wanted at that time. And so I believe this is one of the most important thing in our life, to know really what we want, and to know who we are and what our dreams are to live out. And so this is what happened. So 10 days later, I really went to Australia. I was kind of really nervous as well, for sure. but I'm so glad I had two friends of mine with me. I never traveled overseas. I never went into a plane. I didn't know how everything worked over there. I couldn't speak English. That was another funny thing. During the booking of the dialysis in Sydney, I was using just the, the Google Translator. And so that's how I booked the dialysis. I had no clue what I was talking about there, but it worked. So end of the day, when we entered the plane, I knew, okay, I will have dialysis treatment in Sydney. I don't have to worry about that when we get there. But I still didn't know how we are going to travel or if we will find another dialysis clinics. So we went there to Australia, and the next day I think we traveled on the weekend on a Saturday, so we had Sunday still time. We arrived on Sunday in Sydney, and on Monday I had to do my first dialysis. And I clearly remember we were leaving 45 minutes. We were staying at our friend's place, which was 45 minutes apart from my clinic, and so we had no clue how to drive there. So my friend, who has had a big network from his college, he was doing a great job, so loving, to find a car for us, and I was so much in faith back then. I remember on Sunday night, I went to sleep really relaxed. I didn't know how things would work out, but I just went to sleep, and I just trusted everything work out for good, that we will have a car, that the treatment will go well the next day, that we will find along the way treatment when we want to travel further. And I was so much, letting go of everything in a state of complex flowing, and that was amazing. I think I never experienced afterward that state of myself to just let it go and know everything will work out for good, the right way, even though you don't have it. Today I'm much different because I think through everything, and so I learning to step back from that, to letting go again, because that what I talked in the last video, if you plan too much through, you kind of realize or know it's coming up very quickly, and that hinders you to live out your dream. So anyway, back to Australia, to the moment I was waking up. The next day I had to go there early to dialysis. My friend, or one of them, came with me, and so we went there. Everything worked out well, and so in Sydney, during the few dialysis treatment that I had in Sydney, it came along the path that we could book in Sydney the next treatment in Brisbane. So when we finished 10 days in Sydney, we knew, okay, we will be able to travel to Brisbane, but we didn't have another treatment for me for the next cities. So we traveled to Brisbane, and it was amazing. We had a great time. A few weeks ago, I was catching up with one of the friends that I was traveling with, and we said to each other, hey, that was one of the best times of our lives. And that's so true, because we were young, we were kind of maybe naive to do certain things we shouldn't have done, but anyway, that was so amazing. I'm looking back every now and then to that amazing 2 months of traveling. So anyway, we were in Brisbane, and in the clinic in Brisbane, which was again another clinic, and so there was a really dear lady, a nurse that then helped us to finalize our trip, especially for me in kind of finalize the dialysis clinic. So she worked in different places in Australia, and she knew clinics that in the different cities that we wanted to travel to. So she helped us to really navigate all the clinics for me. And so end of the day, when we left Brisbane, we knew what the next 4 or 5 weeks going to look like, where we can travel and where we'll have clinics. And so the irony of the story is that when I blurted out, I'm going anyway to my doctors back in Switzerland, I had no clue how it's going to work out. But along the way, everything worked out so smoothly. And so this is something I love about life when we let go. It's crazy. It's like when we let go, things just fall into place. But as I said in my last video, we are so, when we get older, we are becoming so rationalized, so overthinking, so over-planning. Everything has to be in a certain place. We are so accustomed to something ordinary instead of extraordinary. And so in this video, I really want to inspire you to let go. I'm learning it myself as well at the moment, to really let go. And trust me, a guy who is grown up with a mindset that everything has to go his way, or who is kind of strong-willed, it's very easy to let go. So it's not easy to let go. And so I'm learning it, and I also want to inspire you to maybe try it out 1 week, to not plan everything, or not anything at all, and just let it go and see what happens. It's scary, I know. It's like I can't do that. It's so scary. It can be so frustrating at times to not know what's going to be the next day. And so, but could it be that one thing that is holding us back so much from the overflowing life that we are dreaming of most of the time? And so one of my mentors one time told me, hey, the only person that is holding back is yourself or myself. So if I dream something, the only person that is holding me back from the dream is myself. And I believe it has so much to do because we have difficulties of letting go. To have, I dream of a world where we can have, people can be like, have childlike faith, living like a child in a sense of just letting go, just living, just playing, just being alive, overflowing life. And so tell me in the comment today, what is holding you back? What's the one thing you think is holding you back? And do you agree or disagree with my opinion about if we let go more of life, life is turning out much more abundant? Or do you disagree with that? And if you agree or disagree, why? Why do you think that? So this is it for today. I thank you so much for watching. I love you so much, and take care. Let it go and let it flow. Peace.